Hello YouTube, this is Amy's Bro, and this is the second video for the night. This video, we are going to be talking about YouTube gaming because, goddamn boys, they're the gift that keeps on giving. So, if you recall, in a previous video, we discussed, excuse me, we discussed YouTube gaming basically causing a dumpster fire with Taisho and Alice and the first volume of the series. Well, they had announced that they were going to do volume 2, and this went much to the dismay of the Otome Armada. Pretty much penning, of course, the translation of the first volume, and when they heard about the second volume, they were like, oh god, no. Gets even worse. Apparently, E2 Gaming decided that they didn't like having negative comments on their page. So basically, they censored it. Only positive comments would be left on there, although I couldn't imagine there would have been that many. So what they exactly did was pretty much censor it to where, you know, if you left a really nasty comment, guess what happened? Yeah, you weren't thought of highly. You were gone from the record book. Suffice to say, this left a nasty taste in Otome Armada's mouth. Well, guess what? They were back at it again. This time, they announced that they were going to release volume 2, and of course the Otome Armada, or Army, whichever way you prefer to look at it, went, oh god, no, especially not after the dumpster fire you left on us the last time. Oh, not to mention, if you recall, when they did it where people were paying for it, yeah, they made it an unsecure website so any old schmuck, if they wanted to, could steal your credit card. That was a problem. So they say, we're doing volume 2. Everybody else goes, oh no, this is an issue. We don't want this. What's interesting is nobody heard from E2 Gaming directly when they were voicing their displeasure. No, here's what happened instead. Apparently, the feedback was so negative about this when the announcement came that you can't even find, even if you're offline of Facebook or on, you can't even find their Facebook page. They've either A, taken it completely down or found a way to completely hide it so that they can, under the cover of darkness, release the game. You know, kind of like how they released Volume 1 when they said the day before it was supposed to come out, oh, by the way, we're announcing a release date for this game. Yeah, because that worked so well for you last time, didn't it now? So, here's what you got. You got somebody, you have a company who decided they are thieves in the night. That's all they are. They are no good at being a game company. I mean, let's be real. What they're doing, what they did, forget the fact that they were censoring comments. The fact that they released the game in the state that they released it in, and now supposedly they were going to do volume 2, but then removed their Facebook page so that people can't comment on it. Boy, talk about people with thin skins, and people think I'm bad. Trust me, I know I can be bad. But you don't see me running off of Facebook. These thieves, these con artists, these whatever you want to call them, they did. Now, E2, we gotta talk. Why couldn't you just man up and tell people, we're sorry that we released the game in the state we released it in? Why couldn't you say, we're sorry that we... Look, I'm not necessarily mad that you were releasing it on Steam, or that you didn't release it on Steam. Because I'm opposed to the idea of putting a game on Steam anyway. for the most part. I am. I'm sorry. Because a company at any time can just say, and remove their game from that website. They could if they wanted to, probably. I don't know how Steam works exactly, but I'm sure they could. One of the pitfalls of digital distribution. We've had this discussion. If you release it on, say, GOG.com as a DRM-free game, or the Humble Bundle as a DRM-free game, even if people have to pay for it, the fact is that you would have the game on a secure platform. The fact that you were willing to put the game originally on an unsecured platform means any really skilled hacker could just steal somebody's credit card information. Now, to be fair, that can happen with any website. But my God, what are you thinking? So here's the worst part. So Primus, who was supposedly who was a company that had the license for the game, that gave it to them, also JLOP, who they got the funding from, so they stole from them. They removed any acknowledgement that they were associated with the PC port. Now, the only bad news about this is if you're going to get the game physically, if you live in the West, if you live in the Americas, you're probably going to have to go through either a third-party seller on the U.S. Amazon, or you're going to have to go through Amazon.co.jp currently. Because what was funny was, that's what people were like. I mentioned that apparently it was sold out on CD Japan, because that's where I go through. And like 2 seconds later, I had people like going into my, adding me, going, "You can get it on it." I'm like, okay, yeah, I can, but I usually go through CD Japan because loyalty. Aside from the fact that I have also recently ordered something else from them, which you'll be seeing, but not for a little while. The point of it is, though, is we know, and we discussed this in the previous video about this topic, we know that the Otome community is a very loyal and very tight-knit community when it comes to these types of games. We want these games to be the top quality of everything. Now, I mentioned that, yes, there have been issues with, say, there's an issue in Code Realize, and I mentioned this in my original review, during MP's route, where part of the text, instead of being in a text box, actually gets shoved up into the name part, and it all gets jumbled. This actually does happen. I've actually seen it happen on my copy. Well, that was one minor text glitch. What these guys did, when they localized it, they put the Japanese name in Romanji, and then they put a literal definition in the subtitle. Or in the dialogue box. What? The point of localizing a game is that you make the game 100% in that country's language. What was even more damning is when you read posts about this. Apparently, companies like Broccoli, who are already, I don't know if I heard this term used when it came to Broccoli. They're xenophobic. What's weird about that one, when I heard it, was somebody said that, and I'm thinking, well, every June 24th, when they do the anniversary on the whole for Udapre, is, and I know they're probably not one and the same, but the Udapre official Twitter acknowledges the international fans. Now, what I find interesting is, if I'm Broccoli, don't I look at that and go, maybe we should, ease up a little bit and not block videos? Because people just download the videos and then upload them on to websites anyway. They've done it, whether you believe it or not. But it's an interesting thing that when you see something like that happen. So now you have a company like, say, Primus, who sees this and they go, well, shit, do we really want to trust anybody? Well, what should have happened, and this is a personal opinion, they should have given their license to somebody like, say, Idea Factory. Or Idea Factory International. Or they should have given it to Axis. And they should have said, we'll give you this license for cheap, and we'll give you the Japanese voice cast. Because remember, Tai Alley, as it's called, for short, didn't have the Japanese voice acting. It only had the English. So that caused a bit of a stir. So why didn't Primus go, if they were going to release it, why didn't they go to a company like Axis, or why didn't they go to Idea Factory International? That was interesting to me. They go to some, I'm going to quote this, young and up-and-coming company, give them the game and say, here. And this is what we got. This is what ended up happening. Man. See, unfortunately, this is a case of you get what you pay for. And when I say it in this case, this is Primus got what they paid for. You go to an inexperienced developer or translator, publisher, whatever term you want to use, and apparently you got bent over bad. And here's the thing, I feel bad for the fans that want an English localization. I feel bad for Primus. I don't feel bad for E2 though, for getting pretty much run off. But here's what's going to happen now. They're going to probably, under the cover of darkness, release the other 3 games because they, I think, still have the license for it. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. But when I look at this, I'm sitting there going, if they had any good faith, any, in E2, if they're still in existence at this point, they should have apologized. They never left a written apology on the... Look, if you're going to even remotely remove your Facebook page, or remotely think about it, the least you can do is leave up for like a week the... leave an apology and leave that up for people to read to prove that you're sincere. That's what you do. Look, I have made many screw-ups. My birthday this year, May 27th, is a year since I made an apology video to somebody who I know probably thinks I'm still a jerk and an a-hole, and that's their right to believe that. I'm not, but that's a whole other video. But when I make a mistake, I own up to it. Why, E2, when people were asking you to owe up to your failures as a company, did you not do it? Because, again, I will remind you, the Otome market in this country is still very young. And to the best of my knowledge, there's 2 companies, 2, that actually localize for the Vita these games. Idea Factory International and Access. Now, what you did is you may have very well just made it even harder for games that may have had a chance to come over here, not have that chance because of what happened. Now think about that. Think about what you did, and then ask yourself the following question. Can you sleep well at night? Especially now with what we can call blood money at this point. Think about that. And when you do, and if you seriously still do release somehow Volume 2 with your shit localizations, remember this. The Otome Armada, the Otome Army, whatever you want to call it, they don't forgive, they don't forget. They will make sure that you never see a penny from them, and they will find a way to do it. Trust me, vengeance can be a bitch, and now you get to worry about it. Think about that, and I'll see you later, friends. Good day.